Hello everybody, I'm going to be doing a reading of My Little Pony Early One Morning. I am sorry if my voices aren't that good, and I'm also sorry if you hear dogs in the background or random noises. Without further ado, let's get into it. Twilight Sparkle awoke early one morning to the sound of incessant knocking at her door. She groaned quietly, pondering for a moment why Spike hadn't yet answered, but the pondering forced the thought out of her mind for the moment. Whatever the reason, her assistant, it seemed, was not going to answer the door for her. Gathering what little precious energy she could, Twilight rolled her way over to the side of the bed, just barely landing on her hooves, before giving a languid stretch. Before her forelegs, first her forelegs, then her back, then her hind legs. Finally, doing something she was still fairly unaccustomed to doing. Her wings were spread wide and stretched, and she felt her bones cracking and popping quietly. The knocking hadn't even slowed. "Coming!" Twilight snapped. Glancing out the window, the sun was just now rising above the horizon. Her habit of late-night studying was doing her mood no favors. Although any pony who decided getting her up this early in the morning was a good idea could use a stern talking to, or Twilight's current scowl was any indication of brief shouting fit. Barely taking note of the unclean state of her library, Twilight strode straight through the clutter of books and notes to the front door. Much like a deer sprinting effortlessly through the woods. When she reached the large oak passageway she uttered a silent mental prayer. Whoever ended up on the receiving end of the rapidly growing fury. "What?" she shouted as the door nearly flung off its hinges. Her newly found alicorn magic. The pony on the other side of the door didn't even flinch. "Twilight, listen," Rainbow said quickly, taking a few well-timed steps away from the angered alicorn. "I know you're probably pretty mad at me for understatement of your whole life," Twilight deadpanned, noting the gap between them was too far for her to take a jab at her with her horn. "What do you want?" Rainbow nodded. "Right, that. You see, there's a very good explanation for all this, but I can't tell you until tomorrow." Twilight blanked, confusion momentarily overriding anger. Though not for long, as she set her strongest death glare on the Pegasus before her. "What?" she asked plainly. Okay, Rainbow just kept repeating it to herself, nearly a minute, staring at the ground and breathing in huffs, as if she had just ran a marathon. Finally, she looked up. "Twi, I gotta say, you're a good friend. A really, really good friend. And I wouldn't trade the world for it. Twilight's mental facialities came to a full stop. Even her burning anger ran low on fuel as she ran over the expected statement. Eventually, she offered a quiet, "You too?" Rainbow shook her head furiously. No. Gotta do this right. She seemed she was talking more to herself than Twilight or some pony else. Like a pony were sitting in the bush nearby, watching her. Perhaps it was a prank. All right, okay. Well, I guess the best way is to get it over with, right? Twilight squinted at the unusual uptight friend. At her unusually uptight friend. The closer she looked, the more she began to notice Rainbow's mane was normally unkept, but now it looked like she put it in a blender this morning. Her wings were a mess, looking like she hadn't preened herself in months. And her eyes were bloodshot. When was the last time she gotten any proper rest? Rainbow, are you okay? What, me? No, I mean, yes, I'm fine. Fine. She was off again, repeating fine over and over, to the point where it no longer sounded like a real word. Rainbow? Twilight repeated, carefully leaning down to try to catch the mare's gaze. She'd gone from furious to concerned to downright scared for her friend's well-being. Would you like to come in? Rainbow's head snapped up, eyes wide as dinner plates. She stared. No. No? She paused, looking up to the sky. No, I don't have time. Or do I? Another pause. I do have time. No, I don't. I'll make time? So, yes, I would like to come in. That sounds right, doesn't it? Twilight nodded slowly, stepping to the side and watching with a frown as Rainbow's shaking hooves carried her inside into the paper jungle. Sorry about the mess. Looks normal. Rainbow trailed off, looking at the books with a twitching eye. Everything's normal, and it's all going to be all right. Following Rainbow through the mess of her front room, Twilight watched as the mare amazingly dodged every obstacle in the room, something even she couldn't do without proper focus. And she was the one who put everything where it was. Without fail or fault, Rainbow found her way onto the couch and flopped down, waiting in silence for Twilight to sit next to her. Okay, Rainbow started, and looking around the room, her eyes covered everything she could see, until they eventually settled on Twilight. Her hooves slowed their shaking, and she gave her thigh a solid punch. Not okay, not dreaming. Everything looks normal. Twilight's sitting next to me, and I'm going to talk to her. Twilight's brow creased as her frown deepened. Rainbow Dash, what's going on? I'm going to talk to you. Rainbow proudly smiling proudly. I said I would. I said I wouldn't trade your friendship for the whole world already, right? Back at the door, you remember that, don't you? A sliver of fear slipped into her voice. Yeah, you did. I remember. Sorry, that was Twilight. Rainbow's head nodded up and down spastically. Good, very good. They're starting to blend together, you know? Anyway. Okay, I already said that. What's next? Oh, alright. Well, there's something I'm not exactly, content with our current relationship. That sounds right. It sounds normal. It's normal. Rainbow. Twilight started cautiously. What are you talking about? What are you... Just let me finish, Rainbow snapped. She sounded angry, but a wide smile never left her lips. Okay. Please, it's normal to finish, right? 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Please, it's normal to let me finish, right? We're aiming for normal here, Twi. Anything not normal won't work. Twilight opened her mouth but closed it slowly. Whatever was wrong, it seemed Rainbow had her own way of getting to the problem. Still, she paid close attention to her friend. Right, so I'm not content. I said that already, didn't I? She chuckled manically. Of course I did. What I'm trying to say here is that I'd like more than just a friendship with you. Rainbow, are you... I love you, Twilight! Rainbow shouted suddenly. A deathly silence fell over the library immediately after. Even her books seemed quieter than normal. Something moved. Nothing moved. Nothing spoke. Nothing breathed. After a solid minute of silence, Rainbow jumped off the couch. No, that wasn't normal. Stupid me. Stupid. Twilight blinked, staring at the mirror as she paced around the cluttered room. Still muttering to herself, Rainbow, she ventured slowly, standing up and reaching a hoof out to catch her friend's shoulder. It's not going to work, Rainbow yelled, turning around and staring half fearfully and half desperately at Twilight. It all has to be normal. If it's not normal, it won't work. What would you describe normal? Would you describe that as normal? Quite frankly, I wouldn't describe anything that's happened today as normal. Exactly! Rainbow took to the air, flapping her wings and scattering loose papers everywhere. Twilight cringed as she watched ink spill and book towers topple. They'll be fine tomorrow, Rainbow said dismissively, waving her hoof nonchalantly at Twilight's direction. Rainbow, will you take a breath for 1 minute and tell me what the hey is going on with you? Twilight demanded, stomping her hoof on the floor and using her magic to grab Rainbow's tail before she could fly away. Ever since you got here, you've been acting, well, crazy. Now this? What's going on with you? Rainbow growled and low in her throat, obeying the tug of Twilight's magic and landing on the floor. You never believe me when I tell you. I've tried so many times, but you just don't get it. It's not a joke. I'm not pranking you. I'm not lying. I, Rainbow Dash, love you, Twilight Sparkle. Why is that so hard for your egghead mind to understand? Twilight sighed quietly, releasing her hold. You need to calm down, okay? Do you think you can do that for me? Huffing, Rainbow scraped at the floor, looking over her shoulder skeptically. After a moment, she nodded. Fine, whatever. I'm calm, nice, normal, and calm. Good. Now, from the top, explain to me what's going on, Twilight instructing, guiding them both back onto the couch. Well, this is new, Rainbow muttered to herself before looking back at Twilight. I came here to ask you out on a date, but you said no. Twilight tilted her head. What do you mean? I haven't said no yet. You actually never asked me out on a date yet. No. Rainbow shook her head roughly. I mean yesterday, or today, or maybe a month ago. I don't know. It seems all the same. But the important part is I asked you out on a date and you said no. I was pretty upset, but I got over it. Went to bed that night, and I woke up in the same day. You mean you woke up the same night? Again, Rainbow shook her head roughly. No, I mean I woke up that day, as in the morning of the same day. I came to your house again, and you didn't remember anything. Sorry about the barking in the background. Rainbow, that's simply not possible. I haven't seen you for a few days. You were in Cloudsdale for the big weather meeting. Remember? You weren't supposed to get back till last night. Twilight, that... Rainbow frowned, brow furrowing for a moment. I barely remember that. It's been so long. Almost a year, I think. I was keeping track of the days once I got it figured out, but I stopped. Twilight placed a gentle hoof on Rainbow's shoulder. That was yesterday. That was just yesterday. It wasn't yesterday. Yesterday I flew into your bedroom and kissed you, woke you up and kissed you. Do you remember that? What? Twilight reeled back with a gasp. What are you talking about? Sorry, let me redo that. What are you talking about? Rainbow threw her hooves up in the air. Exactly! You don't remember anything. Wait, sorry. Exactly! You don't remember. I don't know how or why, but somehow every night I wake up in the same morning every time. I can remember what I did the previous day, but no pony else can. Like I'm stuck in a Like I'm stuck repeating the same day over and over again. It's not just Ponyville either. I've flown to Canterlot, talked to Princess Celestia. She doesn't remember a thing. She doesn't remember the thing the next day. I figure the only way to fix this is to act normal, just to keep being normal, doing everything as I would normally. And things would go back to normal, right? Rainbow, I don't think... It's the only thing left, Rainbow yelled desperately. I've got to try everything. This must be the 10th time I've told you about what's going on, and you never believe me. Once Celestia had me arrested, but I just woke up back at home. The only thing I haven't oh my goodness. The only thing I have left is to do what I normally ask you out on a date, but only to get you to say yes instead of no. It's never worked. And it's the only thing that's never worked. Twilight held up her hoof, asking Rainbow to stop. Hesitantly, she closed her mouth, and Twilight took a deep breath. Rainbow, what you're describing to me awfully sounds like a time loop. You've said that before, but you always say it's impossible. That's because it is, Twilight said simply. Are you pranking me or something? Rainbow's eyes widened. Am I? Twi, do I look like I'm pranking you? This has been going on for months. Twilight nodded, thinking silently for a moment. Well, all right. You said I've never said yes, right? Well then, yes, I will go on a date with you. But you did it! Rainbow smiled widely. You said yes. You finally did something new. Rainbow, are you? This is amazing. It took me completely flipping out on you. Oh, why didn't I try that sooner? No, I did. It must have been exactly what I said. This is amazing. It's finally normal. It'll stop. I'll wake up tomorrow and it'll actually be tomorrow instead of today. Twilight watched, concerned and quietly amused, as Rainbow took off and joyfully celebrated. She shook her head, chuckling quietly. This was all some kind of ploy to get me to say yes, wasn't it? You know I would have probably given you a shot no matter what, right? No matter what, right? You think... Rainbow trailed off, staring at her for a moment, but shrugging it off. It doesn't matter what you think. The important thing is that you said yes. We have to go on a date. It's been so long. What was the plan again? Something about dinner and a play. That's it. I already made 2 reservations because I thought there was no way you could say no to my awesomeness. It's tonight at 7. I'll pick you up at 6:30. With that, she was gone, took off out the window. Twilight watched her, confused, more than a little concerned, and curious as what the rest of the night held for her the next morning. Twilight groaned as she awoke with the sound of some pony trying to knock a hole through her front door. She sighed, sitting up in her bed, and flining the blankets off herself. The sun was just barely above the horizon, and apparently Spike had better things to do today than answer the front door for whoever was trying to get her attention. Getting out of bed, she stretched languidly, and made her way down to the door, navigating through the stacks of paper piles of books, which really should have cleaned up by now already. Opening the door, preparing to thoroughly chew out any pony tries that hard to wake her up. Then she paused as she saw Rainbow Dash sitting on her doorstep crying. "Rainbow?" Twilight asked, anger being washed away in an instant of the sight of her clearly distraught friend. "What's wrong? You don't remember, do you?" Twilight frowned. "Remember what? What do I not remember?" Rainbow sniffed. "We went out on a date yesterday, to a play, and—" "How could I forget that?" Twilight interrupted with a warm chuckle and a smile. "I had a lot of fun with you. I even said we should do it again. Why wouldn't I remember?" Rainbow's jaw fell open, her tears stopping in their tracks. She hastily reached into her wing and pulled out 2 crumpled slips of paper. "I found these on my table this morning. I'm so sorry, Twilight." "What do you—" Twilight trailed off into choked silence as she recognized the papers in Rainbow's hoof. They were 2 of gold-colored paper, each admitting one to watch a play tonight. A play she very distinctly remembered attending yesterday, where they took the tickets. "You're stuck with me now. I'm so sorry." Okay, and that is this reading. I'm sorry if I'm not good at voices. I'm not a little kid, so I'm not good with high-pitched voices. I tried my best. I actually know a person that does a really good job at voices, so maybe I can get them to help me out with this. But hope you enjoyed, and peace out.